Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back, or welcome to the Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or all my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. How have we all been? Wow, it seems like it's been a little bit since I've been on. It's been quite busy. Last week's energy update, I'll just kind of recap just very, very briefly because it has changed. And I'm grateful. I am grateful that the energy has changed. We talked last week about some big bold energy that rolled through, some unsettling, some uncertainty, being having to step back, sleep on it before reacting, and that's kind of and the energy always flows. The energy update always flows into one another, and for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, some of that fog is lifting. And I myself am very, very, very grateful. There's been some, a bit of a confused energy. Perhaps you've been feeling that over the last week or so. That lacking of certainty. Perhaps things have just been unraveling around you. That is kind of settling a little bit, and we are coming into some new insights, some new info that's kind of flowing through, some new energy, and our. And then when I'm going to try and verbalize this the best that I can, I feel like our subconscious thoughts are moving forward. So have you had like new things coming to you? Have you had like, perhaps some new inspiration? Perhaps you're feeling a little bit of some new I never thought of it that way. Our subconscious thoughts are pushing ourselves forward to help us see things in a new way. And that clarity is coming through and transformation is coming through. And it's coming through with a little bit of push pull. A little bit of that push pull, a little bit of that pushing us into change and pushing us into transformation. And what I felt it coming in as is that push pull as do I surrender? Or do I try and take control? So I want to talk about how Spirit gave that to me because I had my own. Okay, that's going to be an interesting balancing act, and that's how it felt was a bit of a balancing act. So when do I surrender and when, or do I take control? And what am I trying to control? And Spirit started putting up all these question marks. What are you trying to control? And what do you just simply need to be surrendered? And what do you need to just kind of allow? And when do we balance that? Because there are times when, taking back our own personal power, and that is going to be a theme for the next 2 weeks, is being able to stand in our truth and coming into that from like a balanced perspective. So that there are things that we can control and there are things that we cannot control. And over the next week and a half, 2 weeks, that's going to be presenting itself on how to balance that. Calling back our own personal power, taking that back, but in a surrendering kind of way, if that makes sense. And being able to say, you know what, I'm just gonna allow that to fall where it needs to, or this is the situation where I need to kind of clear my throat chakra, stand in my own truth in a loving kind of way that I understand. And sometimes we're not always understood, and the lack of being understood is pushing its way through. So if you've been feeling that nobody understands me, um nobody kind of gets it, or I feel like I stand alone in this thought process, I'm just curious as to how many of you have been kind of mulling that around. I will get to all the questions. I do kind of brief, I can't see them popping up. I don't read them until after I get through the energy update, but I will scroll back to the top. Building up that inner well, that inner sense of self, that inner space to be able to create that strong inner self is the energy that we're moving through in the next couple of weeks. And it's a good thing. It's about being able to call that back. It's about being able to say this resonates with me. It's about being able to stand on a platform without having to have all the lights, camera, action all the time, if that makes sense. Are you standing in your own truth, in your own belief system, or are you in disguise? Are you holding yourself back from who you really are? And I loved how Spirit put that to me. I love that was like, are you standing in disguise? Are you not coming up with that sense of self? And as you mull things over, the push is to get us into that growth space with, hey, you've got this. You've learned from your past mistakes. You've learned from your current situation, or I'm learning that right now. Being able to softly say that, I'm learning that right now. I'm learning how to see this from a different perspective. I'm going to push through that perspective, and I'm going to see what's on the other side. The other thing that came up was this whole stronger sense of authentic self. You've been doing a lot of the work. You've been doing a lot of the processes. You've been doing a lot of, can I look at that differently? It's like it's time to take that action plan and move forward with it now. And even small steps are okay. It doesn't have to be great big leaps and bounds all the time. But I feel that the other thing that came up is with reflection and transformation, have you had either situations or people from the past, and it may just pop up in your awareness, or perhaps it's come up in a conversation with things that you've already been through? So, like a little bit of reflection coming into coming into that space of I can talk about it now. I can talk about that now. And I can talk about it from looking at it from a very different way. That transformation and coming into, and I feel September is going to be a very transformative month with, even though we may not always like it, that push forward, we are getting there. We are getting into that space. We are moving through and we are looking at ourselves in a very different way. Take notice this week of those thoughts that are coming up and where they're trying to push you. Sometimes we go kicking and screaming, and I talk about that all the time. Even myself, I go kicking and screaming sometimes with my personal growth, but that personal growth is where I want to, is the path that I want to take. Watch what is unraveling. The energy that is unraveling around you is trying to show you something. Take the path of growth and take the path of standing in your true self. Show up as you are. You're right. Absolutely show up as you are. Okay, so that's where we are for the next week and a bit. I know it sounds is a lot, and it is, but I got through it in a very short time. It only took me 6 minutes to get through it. The fog is lifting, the confused days, that lacking of clarity, that's all moving through in the next week or so. Take the reflection and digestion. All right, that's kind of how it felt. Okay, and I'm curious if anybody has resonates with that. If anybody's resonating with that, I'd be grateful for a comment or so. I'm going to scroll back up to the top. Well, look at you guys all here. It's good to see all you guys coming in. Okay, a lot of good mornings. Good morning to everyone. I can't fully join, but finally saw one pop up again at doctors getting procedure on my hand. Love and light to you too, Tamers. I personally channeled like last weekend that I'll be going through an interesting period soon that'll help me find my voice since I've been struggling to find it. And I feel that authentic self, that taking back our personal power, that's coming at us, Shy. That 100% you have felt into what what I channeled this morning as well. We are going to be moving through that, and there's a way of being able to express it. And sometimes we don't necessarily have all the tools to express, our own voice and are taking back our own personal power. Take it from the heart space. It's, sometimes we can get really really hard on ourselves, or we can come at people, that claw, but come at it from the heart space. Shy, I'll give you a little bit of that advice. I don't know, I've said that before. Speaking our truth from the heart space and being okay if nobody truly understands it. They don't have to. Right. And that's one thing that I've worked really hard on, is being okay with people not understanding. Okay, here we go. Even when I try to scream when I want, nothing comes out. Shy, if nothing comes out, I would always go to journaling. Journaling is a great way to move through some of that. Journaling kind of, I've journaled things and I didn't even realize that I had that thought, or I had that feeling, until I sat down with the pen and paper and just journaled it. And if it's something that you want to release, you can always do your own releasing by, either burning it or reading it and tearing it up, speaking it into a mirror, whatever works for you, Shy. I always say that. Tropical Empress and Spirit, Lana, does my dad have any messages for me? I feel when I lean into there, I have to remind you that you're doing the best from where you're standing, and there's a lot of proud energy there. I just feel like I got to stand up really straight. There's a lot of proud energy there. I feel like I've got to remind you, though, that you're doing your best. You're doing your best. And that's one thing that's kind of on a repeat with me, is you're doing the best from where you're standing. And sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but you're showing up, if that makes sense. I feel like I've got to say to you, you're showing up for yourself. My question today, says Aaron, is my husband. He's been extra moody lately, more than usual. Aaron, that trickles in. I'm just going to grab my notes from last week because I just want to kind of review a little bit. So if you missed the live last week, Aaron, go back and have a listen. But I talked about a lot of the overthinking, a lot of the moods, a lot of the rattled up, the winds of change. And sometimes people express that in different ways, because he may not be aware of the energy that's floating around him. I also feel, Aaron, that he's absorbing more stuff that's not his, more than normal. I feel like he has that, just like the empathic vibe is extra high right now. He's feeling stuff that's not his, and that may be new for him. I feel like I just have to say, give him the space. Sometimes people, all they need is space. We don't have to say, we don't have to do anything for them. I just give him that space. I also feel, though, that at the end of this, Aaron, there's some growth. I feel like there's some ahas, there's some light bulbs coming on for him. I feel like it's just a broadening of his mind and broadening of expansion for him. um, and that was last week was very turbulent with that energy. I don't know how many of you struggled last week, but man, last week was something else with that energy flowing through. Matriarch astrology. Good morning, Lana. I have dreamt about my ex the past 5 nights in a row. We have not been together in 13 years, and I have not been thinking of him. Is something is this something on his end I'm picking up on? Absolutely. So I feel that, and even though it's been a long time since you have connected, and 13 years is a long time, our energy is still open to receive messages. Our energy is still aware. We can still tap in. I feel what I need to say for you to do is just bring them into your awareness and just simply say, whatever you're going through, I'm sending you strength and healing. And I just feel like that is an acknowledgement. I also feel, though, on matriarch astrology, I feel like this is a little bit of, I'm going to use the word test, even though I don't really like the word test. I feel like it's a trust thing. It's, can you trust this enough that you're picking up on something and to send energy to whatever's going on. And I feel like with your own personal growth, because you have been doing a lot of expansion growth on yourself, I feel like this is just something that's coming up for you to say, can you just trust it and say, whatever you're going through, I'm sending you strength. I'm sending you that energy. I'm sending you that support. I don't feel terrible, but I do feel a struggle, if that makes sense. So just sending, you can visualize, whatever strength, whatever you connect to strength as, and send it their way. Uh, Friend, yes, friends feel distant. Everyone's seems to be mulling over things and sometimes energy does linger. I don't, that energy from last week's energy update, remember, people feel it differently. People may sit in it longer. People may be working on their own stuff. And absolutely. And sometimes, Fran, it's about being able to say, I'm not going to absorb it. I'm just going to observe it, and I'm here to cheer for people. And sometimes that's all we can do, right? Our own reaction to that and taking on other people's stuff. And I get it, sometimes it's right in our household. And but I'm going to support you from my lane, and I'm going to drive beside you. But I'm not going to pick it up as mine. I can help, but I can't carry. And I think we're seeing a lot of that right now with people that are around us, because people are on their own path of learning. I also feel, friend, that with all this learning, I feel like I've got to remind you that you've got this. You've got this. It's going to be okay. Everyone's learning. We're all here learning. It's a collective learning, and we're part of each other's learning. And I feel like you've gotten really good at saying, I'm just going to drive over here right beside you. Right. So I love that. I love that. I also feel, Fran, I need to really turn up, what's the word that I'm looking for? What's that phrase? Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. And I need to kind of move it through with some fun energy too. Sometimes all you can do is laugh it off. And that's kind of what I really need. That's really in my awareness right now. I really need to say, sometimes all you can do is laugh it off. It can be a gong show, and we just have to, like, find a reason, find a moment to turn up the volume on a different energy, laugh it off, dance, a funny comedy movie. I need to kind of like turn that up a little bit. It'll help soften what's going on around you. And sometimes that's all people really need. So when you think about the people that are either in your house or closest to you, when you think about, sometimes all they really need, and because you can't fix it for them, you can't carry somebody else's lessons and learning, but you can help them come into a different vibe with it. You can help them, take their learning. There are times where I literally look up at spirit and I will say, like, what is that? And I try to look at it from the humor of my spirit guides. You're learning this right now. And so they're learning it right now. And all I can do is simply hold the space for them to learn it and shift the vibration once in a while. And that's kind of a collective message for all of you. Hi, Lana. How was your family time? Thanks for asking that, Easy Puff. Absolutely delicious. I'm the last week of August is kids are getting ready to go back to school. So I am taking an extra couple days to kind of frolic in that energy as well. I've taken some more downtime just to kind of be in that present moment. I always look at things from this way. This is the last time I'll use my life experience. This is the last time my daughter will be this age in a summer. So I kind of really work on that power of now kind of thing. So that's kind of how I've been doing. How I look at things is right now is the last time this is ever going to be in this moment for me. Um Spring. Today I'm just listening, working to finish unpacking the new apartment. Is there any news from my guides or family on the other side? Spring, I feel like I want to take a moment during your unpacking and take a look at how far you've come. Take a look at, I know you're probably fully aware of that, but really look at it and really look at the space around you and just having that knowing that new beginnings are right in front of you and coming into that space of just, I know we always want to unpack really quick and get settled. Just enjoy it as long as it takes to unpack and get settled. And I feel that, this is just the beginning of a brand new journey. So enjoy the ride. PJ, do any of you follow Lana on Instagram and are interested in chatting? I don't know how to use chat on YouTube. I don't know much about the chatting on Instagram. I will say I don't always have the time to go into the chats, even on the community page. I try my best to get into the community page as often as I can on YouTube. But with the busyness and I really try to balance the social media, how much that takes out of me. So I try not to do too much chatting on my socials. Um, but I try to check in there once in a while. Uh, Tabitha. My dad's in the hospital and not sure how it will go. A neighbor went into his home 3 times and left with a bag before I could get there. Should I confront him? I feel like you need to ask. I feel like you need to ask. I feel like I need to question that. So I would soften the word confront and say question it. Absolutely, I get a absolutely on that. Tracy King Lana, would it be? I would absolutely love to book a past life regression session with you. Do you still offer them? Yes, Tracy. So I do offer past life regressions. If you email the Hawk and I through the website. We can organize. I do them in person and on Zoom, and it's really no difference. It's whatever you prefer. I don't find in person versus Zoom, a difference in success with PLRs. Matriarch, I can talk about my childhood with a different lens for sure now. Oh, I love that. Do spirits have any suggestions on the direction to go to get my son help with gifts for the holidays with everything happening? Does Spirit have any suggestions on the direction to go to get my son help with gifts for the holidays with everything happening? Um, Creativity, but I also feel, and here's what Spirit is showing me, and I'm just having a really good listen before I speak it. Um, the gift of time, the gift of making time, the gift of the small things, the gift from, because the gifts from the heart are the ones that we remember the most. And I feel like if there's anything that you can do, and it can be, I'm not sure if there's, what the whole situation is here, But anything that you can do to insert magic, whether that be, time together, whether that be something that you can step out of the physical world and into just a brief, you can be very brief, a brief moment of magic, a brief moment of doing something together. I also feel creative energy there. If there's anything that you can create together, I feel like I've got to bring that forward. Anything that you can create together is a glorious gift. I get it when it comes to holidays. We are in this consumerism, mindset sometimes. I feel like I've got to push that just a little bit to the side of making it more about time, making it more about cooking together, making it more or more about a hike, making it more about collecting things and creating something like a collage. I feel like I've got to shift that, and I feel like that is huge learning as well. um, I hope that that helps you there. PJ, might be nice to have a group we can share our experiences and pictures with outside of your weekly get-togethers via YouTube. No pressure, just curious. I'll give that some thought, my darling. Diana, hi Lana. I haven't seen the father. Oops. I haven't seen the father of my twins for over a month now. Does he intend on coming around to discuss where he stands in regards to our kids? Wow, I feel a big struggle here. There's something else going on here, Diane, with him that feels really heavy. I do feel like he will get to a position of coming to you to discuss the kids, but I feel like, even because I feel like, here's what I feel: the fact that he's MIA really right now, and I get it, it's hard. I do get it. I feel like you're being protected, and the kids are being protected from something right now while he works through his stuff. Choice and free will is a hard one to tap into, because it's really hard to read with choice and free will, because people can change that, right? I can say, yeah, he's going to come around in 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks' time, he may make different choices. So, choice and free will, because we come here with that, right? I do feel, though, that you're going to get to a point of conversation with him to discuss. I just don't feel it like right in front of you, right? I don't feel like he's there yet, but I feel like there's something else going on for him that I just want to say. I just literally want to go, I have to send him so much right now so much energy to push through something right now. And I think that the fact, it's not right that he stepped back. I'm not saying that it's right that he stepped back, but I feel like there is protection for those kids right now with that step back, if that makes sense. And you know what, Diana Lopez, we're going to send you a lot of strength and a lot of energy to help you move through where you're at right now too, and looking after yourself and those kids. Okay, tropical empress and spirit. Lana, that resonates with me too. I just moved into a new home 2 months ago and still unpacking too. Enjoy the unpacking. Enjoy unpacking. And I get it. We always want to rush. We want to have organization, but sometimes there's something to be said for just really taking our time. And I remember, over the years, because I've moved quite a bit in my lifetime, rushing through unpacking, and then it never gets unpacked properly, or boxes just get tossed in storage. How many of you have boxes in storage from your last move that you haven't even opened yet, and it's been several years? Just take your time with it and then really enjoy putting things in new places, or perhaps doing a purge, more of a purge of what can go, right? Um, you're welcome, Tabitha. Wes, I've been thinking about Discord. Can we chat on there and Facebook? But I've never heard of chats like the YouTube. Aside from, I will take a look at it. I will say, I am moving things around. I have been working with Kim about what I want the fall and winter schedule to look like. It's going to be very different this year, I think. So I am working through that, and I'll take a look at when we can have some chat time. Yes, I get together like on Zoom and meet everyone and talk about our experience would be amazing. Zoom would be a good one. I like using Zoom. I really like using Zoom. It's a lot of fun. Did you see my message? Two parts because of the 200 count character limit. I'll have to scroll back up there, Wes. I see the one about about Discord. Um, Aaron, yeah, I've had boxes stashed for years. Yeah, all those boxes that are stashed. Wes, I see that you retracted a message. Len, I went to my school friend yesterday, and I saw him starting to glow when I pulled up to his favorite Windows game. That's lovely that you got some time together there, Wes. Mandy, huge energy shift, and I'm going to be going through a very hard time to honor my mom's wishes, but I know it's what needs to be done to be able to move forward. Um, Mindy, I also feel, and here's how this spirit is showing it to me. I feel like 'cause I'm seeing a big toolbox, but inside the toolbox is spiritual tools and not like physical world tools. I feel like with honoring mom's wishes, I feel like I need to say it to you this way. You're the only one that has the tools to do it. And that may be the mindset, that may be the strength, that may be whatever it is that it takes to honor mom's wishes. I also feel that I have to say to you, when it comes to honoring that, and I think hopefully you'll know what I'm talking about. There are a few things with honoring mom's wishes that, and I can just feel her bend a little bit. So I can just, you may have to bend just a little bit, but I think you know what is the hard, this is what she wants done. And there are a few floating pieces that she's just showing you can bend on that. And I feel like you have that knowing. I also feel like I've got to turn up the volume on self care for you. So I feel like I've got to do extra grounding work, extra bubbling work, extra time alone work, extra meditating. I also feel like I've got to move around some energy. So you can do this yourself because I feel like you've been holding energy in a couple of your chakras. I feel like you just have to sit with your hand on your heart or hand on your throat or hand on your crown and just kind of move that around. You can move your own energy, right? So, the heaviness in your heart from, family stuff that's going on, I'm just going to send that space. Just close your eyes, visualize some love and light in your hand and move it around, or literally rub your heart space, right? Or the throat chakra. Sometimes we don't get to say what we need to say. So moving it around, I feel like I've got to turn that up a little bit. Make sure that you're not holding energy. And the reason that I'm saying that, Mandy, is I feel when I connect to you, I feel like I'm stiff. I feel like I've got like achy and it feels energetic, not medical. So I feel like you're holding some of that on. So whatever resonates with you, whether it's like earthing, like playing in the earth, getting down in the water, excuse me. I feel like while you go through honoring mom's wishes, I feel like I need to move that energy around a little bit. And if that resonates with anybody else, please move energy around. Try not to hold it. Try to move it through, whether it be through, breath work or meditation, whatever works for you. We're as humans, we hold on to things, right? And we hold on to whether it be thoughts or energy or situations, our traumas, we hold them. And when we hold them, and it doesn't allow it to digest. So being able to, it doesn't take away what happened, it just moves the energy so that it's not piled in there, gripping you. And that's what energy does. When we hold on to energy, it grips us. And I feel, Mandy, okay, even my shoulders are tense. It's like, I feel like, I feel like I'm in a vice, and I feel like I need to just kind of like move that around, move that around. If I'm overthinking something, I'll often do that with my crown chakra. I'll just kind of like pat my head. I'll pat my head and I'll just kind of like, I'm gonna move that overthinking. I'm not gonna let it sit in there. I gotta move it around a little bit. It helps immensely. And it can be anywhere that you're feeling it. If wherever you're holding energy, move it around a little bit. Um, and if you give it a chance, it will definitely work. I only get on YouTube for you, Lana, and do my own personal shows on my channel, but I do like being able to see your face and talk to you here. I love coming onto the YouTube channel. It brings me so much excitement and joy. Camilla, Lana, I'm wondering if any of my family on the other side have a message for me. Um, Camilla, have you been restless? I suddenly got like, like restless legs. I feel like I'm restless. It might not, I feel, and I also feel like, are you waking up? I feel like I'm spontaneously waking up. So I'm going to give you a chance to respond to that, Camilla, because I feel like the support that you're asking for is coming in, but I don't know if you've been like second guessing it. Is that real? Is this happening? Are they here? Can they hear me? I feel like they're sending feelings, like, sensations around you. So I feel like I need to I just simply start acknowledging. I know that you're with me. Come with me today. Thank you for, reaching out to me today with energy. I feel like they're trying to say say we're hearing you and we're helping you. We're hearing you and we're helping you. But I feel like I don't know why I keep feeling like this restless energy. Have you been more restless lately, I guess, or uneasy? Have you been feeling that? I've been waking up a lot. There it is. During the night lately, not like me. There it is, Camilla. So quite often, um, especially when, the words that you said, it's not like me, quite often, because our mind is quiet, essentially when I channel, technically I'm awake, but my brain's asleep. When you're asleep, they're reaching out, and I feel like they're supporting you. So, and uneasy, there it is. So there it is. So with the support, you're being supported. So I feel like I need to say to you, acknowledge them, acknowledge your loved ones, your friends, your ancestors, and just say, I know that you're with me while I'm going through this hard time. I know that you're with me while I'm going through this. They're just letting you know that you do not walk alone. And if you have been feeling alone or just feeling like no one really understands, I don't feel understood, that they're letting you know that they're here and helping. Okay, I'm gonna scroll back up because there's quite a few messages yet. Many you want to get together. All right, I'm gonna put that on my list to get to work through some get-togethers. Okay, so I read that one. I read that one. Resonates with me too. I just moved into my new home 2 months ago and still unpacking too. All right. I lived in the same house for over 20 years. I know there are things that can be purged. Too bad my family couldn't drop new furniture from the heavens whenever I hear you. It's funny that you bring that up because I need some new furniture too. I have a big one with purging though. If my family is not, so we do have a little bit of that. I don't like stuff, they like stuff. So we do have to find that balance. And I also I'll admit it, I've got stuff in boxes that have been there for 10 years that I have to go through. Mandy, thank you. Back, shoulders, voice, hips. Yeah, there it is. This is the final stage and going to cost a lot physically, mentally, and pocketbook. Mandy, remember that you can only do your best, and that has to be, and that's probably where that bend is though too. So just remember that I said that, Mandy, if you have to bend a little bit, and I know you know this, mom's okay with that, right? Spirit does have a different perspective once they're on the other side as well. There's that, so tap into that, Mandy. um Tap into that energy, because I really don't feel that mom would want your pocketbook to be blood dry, right? So just kind of see where you can bend, right? Pick what was most important, and she's like, I can feel like I feel like I'm a branch that's bending. And I feel like, I don't know, Mandy, is there something with like a willow tree or a pussy willow, like, a branch that bends? I feel that. I feel it's very specific. I'm just not quite sure what she's trying to show me, like a bendy branch. I've been all right. I was tending to my pets and cleaning, and out of nowhere, I just went, Lana's live. Oh, bless your heart, Ina. I saw a cluster of gold orbs last week that surrounded me when outside my patio. The orbs continued flying around. I love orbs so much, by the way. Flying around me and going through me. It reminded me of the end of the movie Ghost. Oh, I love that. Um, I feel, when I lean into that, I feel like there's a few different things going on there with those orbs. I feel it's loved ones. I feel it's spirit animals. I also feel spirit guides. I feel so much magic. I feel fairy energy. I feel like so many different pieces of the spirit dimensions are floating around you with those orbs. I also feel that there has been, as I can see your eyes opening up more. I feel like magic has been expressing itself even more, even more. There's been so much magic, even more. I feel like it's an expansion of magic. And I also feel like you're able to see it now. And perhaps there was a time where you weren't. So I feel like they're showing you that magic is all around you. Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, that was a really good movie. So Camilla, I had an intense dream about my grandma. Starting to think it was not a dream now. So let's talk a little bit about visitations, from spirit in dreams. They do feel quite intense. So they feel very real. They feel very intense. They don't have that, just a dream feeling to it. I also feel that, She has come to you before in a dream and perhaps you don't remember, Camilla. And I feel like I've got to say to you, and I'm not sure why, I'm just going to say it, you got this. You got this. Whatever is going on around, whatever floating pieces, you got this. I also feel that the when you acknowledge it, so Grandma, thank you very much for visiting me. And I'm open to more visits. I feel like you'll get more visits from her if you're open to that. So I would kind of lean into that. We get phenomenal messages in our dreams from our loved ones and spirit guides. I always tell people to set an intention. Please visit me in my dreams and help me to remember if that's something that you're interested in growing. um, Laura, good morning, Lana. I would like to see if you have anything from my guides. I'm kind of at a halt with everything in life right now. I don't know if I should stop my depression meds. So Laura, I feel like I've got to balance. So here we go. So I feel like I've got to balance the medical world and the spiritual world. So I will leave that the depression meds, I will leave that to the medical world, right? But I feel that there's been such a deep growth in your own spirituality and your own mindset that I would, and this is what spirit's doing. It's not me, it's spirit. They're pushing you to lean stronger in that, to grow deeper in your roots and to take it one step at a time. And I also feel like I need to say there is nothing wrong with depression meds, but I feel like I need to say that. So I don't know if you've been struggling with shame on that, or if you've been struggling with am I ready for that? Balance it for now, and then I feel like I can say revisit it at another time. But I feel like I've got to kind of really grow the whole spiritual part of you even deeper in the roots. And I feel it, and I want to come back to what you said. I feel like at a halt right now. So with that word halt, I feel like I've got to just kind of lightly say to you, I'm in a space of more learning. I'm in a space of figuring it out. I've got to just kind of be a little bit more gentle with you, Laura. Like you be more gentle with yourself, Laura. I feel like I've got to kind of like work through that. I'm figuring it out, and I also feel like I need to say you're doing a great job with figuring it out. And sometimes it feels like a standstill, and we don't realize the little teeny weeny steps of growth. But I feel like I've got to like just hold you and just wrap you in a blanket of love and light, and just simply say you're healing right now, and it takes time, and time is a physical world thing anyway. And I'm healing, and healing is a process, right? And I feel like you're in that, you're digesting a lot, but I don't feel, even though it feels, and I just feel like that word halt. I feel like I have to change that word with I'm learning this right now. This is the space I'm learning in. Right. Forward momentum sometimes, because we think of forward as fast moving sometimes, and everybody wants to get to a better space. 100% agree and understand that. But I think I've got to kind of, sometimes I'm learning this right now. This is the space I'm learning in. I'm not at a halt. I'm just learning. Do you see how different that feels? And I feel, Laura, that with this new perspective that you've been working on, and with this growth, it's just the beginning of a beautiful journey. I'm at the beginning of a beautiful journey. So you see how that changes how you feel about it a little bit. You see how, and I know I want to get to the good part. Let's get to the good stuff, right? I get that, but there's a lot of good stuff right here in front of you right now that you're learning. So I feel like I've just got to kind of soften on yourself, because I feel like you're really hard on yourself, especially right now for whatever reason. I feel like I'm really hard on myself. You are strong. You are loved, you are supported, and you're learning. So, Laura, we're all going to hold you in that space, Laura, and continue navigating through that learning. I'm navigating through what I'm learning right now. I do feel at some point that it's going to balance itself out, right? And then I think your physical self and your spiritual self. I think there's going to be that a better balance with that. I hope that resonates there with you. I went to some other dimension in my dream and I was with her. Oh, I love that so much. I'm going to put the intention to see her more and put a notebook beside my bed to remember. Good job, Camilla. We do forget our dreams really quickly. right? And sometimes we don't remember them at all. But setting the intention. I want to talk about what you said about going to another dimension, because you're right. You did go to another dimension. You went to the spirit dimensions. We can astral travel to other dimensions. We can just simply land in other dimensions. They often will come to us in our dimension as well in the dream state. But in that dream state, it's easier for us. I'll use the word float, or arrive in a mutual dimension where we can have conversations, where we can have these moments where our physical body isn't blocking us. So yes, that is a glorious, just simply setting intentions, right? Laura has answered me. I have been feeling shame because my dad was on these meds, and reminds me that I don't want to be him. I felt like the meds, I felt like the meds had made me feel more wonky with my spirit and physical world. So Laura, you're having a very different experience than your dad, because you're a completely different person, right? So, lovingly reminding you of that. And there is no shame with needing support. That doesn't mean that you're going to be on the medication permanently, or a permanent space. I just feel that balancing it with your spiritual self, and when you're ready, and it's not up to me, because I don't give medical advice. I'll share with you what spirit shows me, but I see it that it's going to come into a balance. So whether that be a balance of less meds, or a balance of being able to work through some of that healing, I feel like you're going to get there, and right now you're taking those steps, right? So kind of feeling into it that way. I felt like the meds have made me feel a little wonky with my spirit and physical work. Um, Laura, one thing that you can do, and I will give you this advice, and it does work, and it does really help, is when you connect to the medication, just set the intention of whatever my body needs from this medication. I'm open to that. Whatever my body doesn't need from this medication, I'm gonna let it out. I'm just gonna soak in a tub, or drink a glass of water, with the intention of cleansing what you don't need. The physical world, and the spiritual world. So the physical world being the medical world, and the spiritual world, we can work together with them, right? And that's been a little bit of a misconception, or a block between both medical world and physical world. And I seen that firsthand. Was a nurse. Well, I still have a nursing license, but I was a nurse for a very long time, and I seen that close to medical world and spiritual world working together. Now I see it where there's this great big crack in that. There's a great big opening in that. There's both worlds can work together. And I myself, even if I have to take a Tylenol for a headache, I simply look at the Tylenol, look at the bottle of water, and I'll say, okay, whatever my body needs from this Tylenol, I'm open. Whatever my body doesn't need from the Tylenol, it can go, right? So because both worlds can work together. And one thing that, and I'll share it from my perspective. You never have to agree with me. It's always wide open to that. Is when you look at medication, and for the most of it, when you look back at the scientists that created it, it was channeled. It was channeled information. So they received the information on what works and what doesn't work. So the medical world and the spiritual world, excuse me, can work together. And I think that we're getting there in a big way. I now have physicians that refer to me for spiritual guidance for their patients, where, even 5 years ago, that door was locked. I tried knocking on it a few times. It was locked. And now it's open. Is it wide open? No, but it's open. And when there's an opening, there's room for expansion in that, right? So I get therapists, psychiatrists, physicians that are referring their clients to me to work on the spiritual aspect, and they handle the medical aspect, and it can be balanced. And there is absolutely no shame in needing a medication. There's absolutely no shame in that. So, again, I do feel, Laura, that you are going to work through that. I feel that balance between both worlds is going to become very, very easy. You are also not your dad having the same experiences. You are having your own journey. So, I hope that helps you, and I hope that helps. A few of you who may be struggling with that. And I get it. So, medication can make us, feel a certain way. Um, you can perhaps take that to your doctor and see if there's anything that they can do with that. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I work with a lot of people who are on antidepressants or anti-anxieties, and it makes them feel a little wonky and they struggle with meditation. So, what do we do about that? It's very simple. Meditation does not have to work for everybody, and meditation does not have to be traditional. So, meditation can be a walk in the park. Meditation can be looking at the water. Meditation can be counting the stars. So, working around certain things to help with that balance is huge. It's huge, right? We don't have to do things a certain way for it to work, right? With our spirituality. Okay. I'm struggling. Oh, here we go. Tropical Empress. I'm struggling to meditate. I can't even calm my head down enough to go into a deep meditation. Maybe it's about surrendering and control. So, that surrendering, what I talked about earlier in the energy update, that push pull, surrender, do I take control? And I also just want to bring back something that I just said a few moments ago, Tropical Empress and Spirit, is meditation can work very differently for you. There are times, well, I can go very deep into meditation, and there are times where I just can't get there. I don't judge it. I don't control it. I just find another way around it. Meditation can be folding laundry. Meditation is just simply quieting your mind from the chatter. So, however it gets you there, right? Meditation can be watching, and it doesn't have to be long. Like, people say, I only was able to quiet my mind for 30 seconds. And I say, clap for that 30 seconds. That's great. It doesn't have to be an hour at a time, right? Make it your own. Shy. Laura, I take medication, has a huge stigma on it right now, but it genuinely helps me a lot. It's for multiple things, including ADHD and anxiety, and even more chronic pain issues. Thanks for sharing that, Shy, and giving your support. There's nothing wrong with taking it. It's a beautiful thing if it works. And sometimes finding different things that works is the journey with it too, right? So we're supporting you in that. Um I get some medications have a huge stigma. I too am on meds that help me with chronic pain. So, let's break down this conversation a little bit. Things that have a huge stigma. Okay, let's go here. I'm gonna channel it. And I don't know why. I might even go into a little bit of a trance with that. Let's just see. I'm feeling spirit coming in quite close to me today while I'm on the live. Things that have a stigma are other people's opinion. And what works for other people may not work for you. And what works for you may not work for other people. And I feel that, I just need to say other people's opinion. If I was to tell you not to wear the shirt that you're wearing today because I don't like it, would you wear the shirt or would you listen to me? Very simple, right? Very simple concept. Stigma and other people's opinion, put it down. What works for you works for you. And what doesn't work for you doesn't work for you. And it's between you, yourself, your higher self, and your physician, right? So I feel like, not feeding that stigmatism or that stigma and not leaning into that and with that shame and with, if it's working for you, let that be your compass. If it's not working for you, let that be your compass, right? Because we take on so much with what the physical world thinks, and we feed that with shame, we feed that with thoughts, we feed that on social media, we feed that, and we don't have to. You don't have to feed it. So if it works for you, let that be your compass. If it doesn't work for you, let that be your compass, right? um the other thing is don't go looking for the stigma all the time either, right? Don't go looking for it. It's like, I mean, we don't have to share anything that we're doing. There are times where I don't even share my spiritual practices because it's very intimate to me. So you can keep that part of your life private. If it's working for you, don't seek other people's opinion on it. If it's between you and your doctor, it's between you and your doctor. All right, there we go. Um, I love that medication routine. I take a few things also. Yeah, that's and I'm gonna tell you, it works. It truly does work. Whatever my body needs, I'm open to accept that. Whatever my body doesn't need, please leave. I now take another medication that's supposed to help with nerve pain damage, but it's also prescribed for psychiatric issues too. The pandemic really opened up some doors. I'm grateful to live in this lifetime to witness this. Kayla, me too. Me too. Um, when I think too, and it's not, Everybody's entitled to their thoughts and their opinions on pretty much any topic, right? Any topic. People can have their own thoughts and opinions on things. It's okay. You don't have to take it. So it comes back to that exercise, mine, not mine, right? It's not my opinion, it's not my opinion. If I don't resonate there, I don't resonate there. We don't have to force feed that on other people too. Right. That's the other thing, and that's why I always say if this resonates, great. If it doesn't, great. I don't need validation, and neither do you, to have something resonate. So if it doesn't resonate, it's okay. We don't have to. We've gotten really pushy with making people or trying to change people's minds into accepting something or thinking the same way. I'm very much okay with coming up with my own conclusions, and I can change my mind. I can change my mind. There are things that don't resonate with me anymore. And I think, well, wow, that doesn't resonate with me at all anymore. But at the time, it may have served me, right? All right. Anyway, there's my rant on that. I appreciate you, Lana. I've been trying to go outside to the beach and hiking to get grounded. Well done, you, Laura. Well done, you. Nature is a huge healer, natural medicine out on the land and in the water. And it's my go to place too. Thank you, everyone. I see your messages. I feel so supported with you all here. And this is why we do this. This is why we come live, and talk and just share and just support. It's such an easy, safe space here. I love it so much. Kayla, do my guides have any messages for me today? Thanks as always. Kayla, I started seeing all these little, I don't know why I'm closing my eyes so much today, but I'm just going to trust it. I started seeing all these little twinkly firefly, like fairy lights and fireflies, coming in and kind of like coming in and like swirling you around. And in all that, I feel like I'm a little girl. I feel like I'm about 7, I don't know, between 5 and 7, and I just feel so youthful right now. Kayla, have you been really playful and really into like magic eyes of a child lately? And I feel like this energy is going to have a big microphone for you up over the next several weeks. I just feel like I'm looking at all this magic. I can literally see a jar of fireflies and opening a lid and letting them go. I feel like the magical side of life is coming in, and I feel like I'm dancing in it, and I feel like I'm playing in it, and I feel like I have that around me. Kayla, if you're not experiencing that, yes, please dive in. I just feel like I'm diving into it. And I just feel like I'm like 20 years younger than my stated age. I feel like that path is opening up the spirit dimensions. I feel like that playfulness is kind of like your way in. I feel like that's kind of your way in to expansion. Oh, here she is. Kaylee, so I'm watching cartoons, old movies I watched as a child. I want to connect to my inner child. There it is. Um, Kayla, it's also your way into growing your spirit connections, your own way into your spirit guide, your own way into channeling. It's a very playful little girl space. And I can just and I don't think I've ever seen Kayla. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kayla. I don't think we've met in person. But I can see like even like a little girl's chubby cheeks. So I'm just curious if you had like those really chubber cheeks when you were really little. It's very exciting, and I love just seeing it. I could sit here in this energy all day. All right, let's have a sip of my coffee. All right, let's scroll back up here. I may have missed some. Tropical Empress and Spirit. I want to work on strength and mediumship, but struggle to meditate. Okay, find another way. Find another way of quieting your mind. Find another way of connecting. Either there, like I said a few moments ago, and I've probably said 1,000 times on the lives, and I'm not sorry to repeat it. Find another way. My meditation practices are all over the map. Yes, I channel every morning, but over the years, it's been all over the map. And sometimes in the morning, my channeling is a few minutes. Sometimes it's a lot longer. I never judge it. I never question it. I never fight it. I just allow it. So, looking at the sky can just simply be meditation. Find another way. Yes, meditation and quieting your mind is, I'll tell you why. The reason it's so important in mediumship is when I'm channeling, I'm literally in an altered state, even though I had to learn how to talk and channel at the same time. It took some time. So now when I channel, you can see, I often pause, I often look up or away. I'm literally putting my mind in that meditative state so I can hear spirit. If my mind is not in that state, then I'm in it, right? My own thoughts, my own suggestions, my own pieces. It's not spirit, it's Lana. So meditation, being able to meditate and quiet your mind, comes in with the channeling to be able to get there without being in it. Because it's one thing I am always very careful on, and it's a huge integrity piece for me. It's never my opinion. It's only theirs. Right? There are times where I've been like, well, I would have thought differently. It's not mine. So being able to quiet the mind, to be able to connect and to be able to channel, is huge. How you get there is your own path, right? So, just being able to pause, and being able to pause a little bit longer every day, a little bit longer, or longer in a month. It doesn't have to be every day that it changes, but being able to find your way, which is why when people always say, "Oh, you get this glazed look over your face or you stare off," it's because I'm instantly shutting my mind off. Then that's kind of why I kind of do it. People who know me personally will say I get this look, and that look is me shutting my mind off and connecting. All right, there we go. That's my rant. Where do we go? Where do we go? All right. I love the trees. I find peace in trees. Yeah, there you go, Jennifer. Yeah, that's your way. Okay. Trees, are huge, beautiful spaces to hang out with. I will agree. Time for my clients. Love and light, Lana. Bye, bye, Mandy. We'll be back to hear angel numbers later, etc. Have a great week. Have a great week too, Miss Mandy. Okay, I do have to watch the time here, guys. We're coming up to an hour. How does it go so fast, eh? How does it go so fast? We have met 2 times on Zoom. Okay. I did have chubby cheeks. Thank you, beautiful Anna. Okay. I never remember. So Kayla, I know you know this. I never remember the sessions, right? So I'm not sure how long ago we met, but I never remember the sessions. But yeah, I could see those big chubby cheeks. All right, you guys, it's time. I gotta get to work. And I'm grateful. Let's set an intention. What do we need to know? 476. Good. The angels want you to know that they've heard and answered your prayers about paying your bills and other concerns. All is well. That's great to know. 121. Now is the time for your unwavering faith and optimism, which always yield the highest possible outcomes for you. Trust is a powerful thing, right? There are times where, I've had to dig deep myself. Digging deep and trusting is huge, and it can be hard to trust. I mean, let's I claim that one, says Aaron. Yeah, claim it, own it. Trust is huge, right? Um, and there have been times where I've gone into that wobbly. And, the harder I lean, the more I understand it. It's very hard to explain, but it's so true. One more. I can't put it down yet, so I just have to trust it. 721. Your faith and positive thinking have attracted wonderful and trustworthy new opportunities and relationships. Again, with trust. And sometimes, and I always talk about, there's being positive and there's that false positivity, are two very different things. Um, but sometimes, if all I can muster is or mutter out is, I'm just going to trust the path and know that one foot in front of the other is the way. That can be enough sometimes, right? One foot in front of the other. Somehow I'm getting there. That can be enough. I feel like we've got to acknowledge when it's hard. Yes, it's really hard right now, but one foot in front of the other. I'm learning as I go, right? I really feel that we've got to also acknowledge when it's hard, because, and I do. I acknowledge when it's hard. This is really hard. Help me through it. I know I'm going to get there. You got to acknowledge it along the way. Okay. And thumbs up, you guys, if you're enjoying your time with me today. All right, spirit animal book. Manatee. Adjust your diet to include a lot of green leafy vegetables, and by grazing Eating very small portions a few times a day rather than eating 2 or 3 large meals each day. If I eat one more green leafy vegetable, I'm going to turn into a head of lettuce. I've been increasing my lettuce. I have been. Slow down to about 80% of your usual pace, and you will find that you can still make steady and consistent progress. Stop procrastinating, the big P word. Focus on what you need to be attending to and move forward with courage and confidence. This is a very nurturing time, both for receiving as well as giving comfort to others emotionally and physically. This is a time to put others' needs before your own at times, but do not get too caught up. Not so that yourself, but so you're willingly and lovingly give your time and attention and energy where needed. Miss Lettuce Head instead of Miss Potato Head. Yes, I'm telling you right now, Tropical Empress, I've been increasing my greens, and I cannot eat one more piece of green lettuce today. I cannot. Is that resistance? Is that resistance to the message? Um, yeah, I've really been working hard on my diet. Wes, I see cow. I call them sea cows for a laugh. Okay, I feel like I need to do one more. So I can't put the books down today because I have a sip of coffee. Let's do one more. The coffee was cold. Cheetah. Things will be speeded up for a while, but be assured that you'll move gracefully through this cycle. Increase your flexibility by daily stretching, perhaps even taking regular yoga classes for the next few months. You must respond without hesitation to the opportunity that has recently presented itself. Don't get caught up in the trap of rigid thinking and acting, but instead remain flexible and willing to change course quickly as the situation demands. That's how you know we had a lovely session today. Too busy to finish the coffee. Yeah, I never drink a full cup of coffee. I don't maybe it's time that I stop drinking coffee in the morning. I don't ever drink a full cup. Like I usually only get like half a cup in, even when I'm not live. Um I also increase my fruits. I love my vegetables. I do love my vegetables. But and I'm not complaining or whining. Because I'm vegetarian, so I mean most of my diet is vegetables. But there's only so much lettuce. I think the raw vegetables I don't have a problem with, but it's the lettuce. So it's all this lettuce. And I say that with a lot of fun and and a lot of laughs. But there's only so much lettuce. When I read that, I was like, I can't eat one more piece of lettuce. I've been using lettuce as bread instead of eating bread. So I'm lettuced out. I even grew my own lettuce. Maybe I've just had enough. I've had enough lettuce. Okay. Where are we here, you guys? I'm gonna lose my crap when the moth stag frog comes up with the spirit animal book. That's all you guys. Okay, so I'm not here the rest of the week. It is a long weekend. Labor Day weekend here. So I will be quite busy. I have a lot of fun. We're going to Canada's Wonderland tomorrow. So I'm very excited about that with the softball team. So that's going to bring a lot of fun. Wednesday, I won't be here, or Friday with it being a long weekend. So we will see you. I believe let me check the calendar. Let's see here. I think it's the second or the third. Sorry, you guys. I don't even know what day it is. I'll see you on I'll see you on Wednesday the 4th. If anything changes in my schedule, I will pop on. But for now, that's what I'm gonna go with. The last week of summer before the kids go back to school. It will be a week that I will frolic in every moment. And try that, you guys. Try frolicking in every moment, right? So, it's the only summer of 2024. Frolic in the remainder of the week. I haven't been to Canada's Wonderland since I was little. Enjoy it. Yeah, I'm going with an entire ball team, so it should be fun. It should be a good time. That's what they want, where they wanted their end of the season party, so it's going to be fun. I haven't been there this year either, was just too busy. So this is my first time there this year. We will see you all in a week and a half. As always, I'm wishing you love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided day. Take care, you guys.